Ooh, felt so good when you looked my way. Take me down on the floor, baby, say my name. Ooh,
I'm very excited to welcome Lorraine Delisio and Liz Perfumer from Delisio Law Group here today. Thank you so much for coming in and chatting to us about all things visas. Such an important thing to for any artist wanting to travel or move to the US to have. Can you tell us a little bit about your law firm?
Yes, absolutely. So Delisio Law Group is a boutique immigration law firm where we are focusing on helping the individual artist as well as actually production companies and entities that work with artists to come from around the world and really open up the U.S. as a work market. And we work on visas from everything from O1 visas, which are for individual artists, to visas for groups of entertainers that are coming. A group is actually defined as more than one, so it could be two. It could be a duo. Yeah, exactly. And we've been honored this year with the ranking as number 16 in the nation for top growth of any law office.
That's amazing.
In the United States. And we are also sitting on the Century City board, and also been awarded with the Attorney of the Year for Century City, which is the financial capital of Southern California.
Congratulations.
So it's been a real honor doing all this work, and we're very passionate about it. I think what may set us apart is a lot of ourselves and our staff have worked in the field of the arts ourselves at one point in our career. So we are quite passionate about what we do.
And you know it.
Exactly. And getting the results efficiently and effectively, like yesterday, is completely understood.
Yeah, wonderful. That's so good.
Yeah.
Preparation is key to getting a visa effectively coming into the US. What sort of things and how many credits and what do people need to do prior to being able to be eligible to be here? Mm-hmm. There's so much.
Sure. Yeah. So, to start off the discussion, what everyone has to understand is there's not any temporary work visa that will allow someone to work in any job, in any profession. In the US, when you have a temporary working visa, you're either going to be tied to a specific employer or tied to a specific industry or job title. Mm-hmm. So for artists, they're generally tied to a specific position. And, the type of visa that we look at most commonly, as Lorraine mentioned, is the O1 visa, mm-hmm. which is available to individual artists. Now, the O1 is for applicants with extraordinary ability in the arts or mm-hmm. extraordinary achievement in film and TV. So U.S. Immigration has set a stringent standard that they're going to look for in order to approve applicants. Now, that being said, Lorraine and myself and, several other attorneys that we work with, really have experience in our careers working with people at all levels, from people just starting, people just coming out of school, all the way up to people winning Academy Awards and BAFTAs.
All levels. Wonderful.
All levels. Yeah. Well, because also I think that we're so lucky to be based right here in LA, right in the heart of everything, where all the studios are, all the networks are. So, we know what they're looking for. We know what they'll accept,
will work.
What they won't. Exactly. Yeah. And then Lorraine also mentioned that there's a P visa that's also sometimes used in the entertainment industry when we're looking at either musicians or performance groups, which sometimes will be dance groups, theater groups, improv groups.
Okay.
So for individuals, we're talking about the O. For groups, we'll talk about the P.
So how long can people stay on the P? How long can they be here for?
Sure.
1 year increments. So the P I guess that's a con to the P, because if you compare it to the O, which is for an individual artist, which, by the way, the members of a group, if they have enough distinction in the field and evidence to show their past work, can look at the O1 visa as an option. That O1 will allow you to be here for up to 3 years.
Yes.
And ultimately, what determines the duration of any of these artist visas is actually that offer that you use in the petition to express really that there's interest for the artist in the United States. And what's really exciting and new is that offer could actually be a foreign offer. So it could be, yeah, absolutely. So it could be a U.S. grown offer from a U.S. citizen or entity here, U.S. based, or it could be actually from a foreign production that is coming into the United States to do some.
Is this a new thing?
work. Well, it's, the officers, in my experience of doing this, were quite not really embracing this in practice, but we've been finding it recently to be working quite well.
Nice.
Of course, we always recommend, if you have that US based offer, that this is preferred, and it's also usually someone that would be more recognized and you got to think about it from the officer's perspective. If a government worker, what they would be, they're sitting there all these applications piled high around them.
Of course.
What's going to stick out for them? And having a US name is often nice, but at the same time it can be helpful. We ultimately as well, I think Los Angeles is a very unique place because so many people from all around the world come here. And I would say from all around the country come here as sort of the safe haven of ideas and information sharing and innovation in the entertainment field. And so by that very fact, you have like this layer upon layer of expats, whether they be from your home country or they be from the Midwest and they just happen to be here. It's like expat's a little bit of a loose term. And it's good to tap into that community and trying to find that offer, for work. It can be subject to change.
Yes. Yeah.
Could be something in development. And,
Is it just one offer that somebody would require? Are we talking deal memos or,
It could be, it could be absolutely a deal memo, a 1 to 2 pager, really short, brief, describing the project, your role in the project, synopsis of the project, estimated itinerary. But it's what we've seen doing these cases over and over and over again is, the offer, a lot of people are kind of struck with it because they say, well, it's sort of the chicken before the egg. I want to get work authorization so I can come here and work. Yet they're asking me for the offer. How do I get the offer if no one really wants to give me the offer until I have the work authorization? It's good to tap into also your own community. And if you don't know anybody here, starting off with sort of the people like from your community, whether it's from across the country or overseas, that is here. And we may even have, some suggestions of some organizations and people to reach out to. Of course, we're an immigration, and entertainment law firm. However, it's always good to brainstorm and try to think of where you could go.
Because you've also got an amazing network, haven't you? Of course.
Right.
Over the years of doing these cases, we see time and again the places where our clients get, encounter obstacles or get held up. And, we've worked with so many people over the years that kind of work in all these different positions. And so we've really tried to just create a network of other people who are familiar with the process, who have gone through the process, who know what's involved, who like to meet other talented artists from around the world and are often
put everyone together.
Exactly. So just like she was saying, to tap into, your own community. That's, we have tried to tap into our community in order to,
of course.
share the love.
Share the love.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and we just find that so many times people really would like to work with, they're from my hometown, or they're from, and that connection. It's good to have a connection.
Totally. You must.
Metropolis.
Totally.
Large. So
Great. So can you tell us what sort of criteria you need around the O1?
Sure. Okay. So the way that the law reads for this You can get the O1 by showing that you've either won or been nominated for a major national or international award. That's one pathway. The other pathway is by showing you meet at least 3 of 6 criteria which immigration has laid out, in which 99% of applicants are going to be going down this path. Okay. So even though they say 3 of 6, we always prefer more if we can. The first one they're gonna consider is whether you've performed lead or starring roles in distinguished productions. Okay. Very closely related, they're going to look to see if you've performed a leading or critical role for distinguished organizations. Okay, so the organization's separate from the productions. They are going to look for any press about the artist. They will look to see if the artist has any critical acclaim or commercial success. Critical acclaim being smaller awards, not the Oscar and Emmy and BAFTA level, but any film festival recognitions, things like that. Commercial success being box office, tickets, good box office, good ticket sales, good ratings for TV shows, a lot of views online. Next, they will look for some letters of recognition, letters of support from industry experts. Usually 5 to 7.
Okay.
And then the last one is a high salary. If you have earned or will earn a high salary, they'll consider that.
All right. Wonderful. Wow, that's quite a lot for a person to have to prepare for, right? Yeah. Are there any exceptions to that rule?
Right. So, so when you're looking at all the 6 criteria, often, more up and coming people get quite overwhelmed, and they say, well, wait a second, that's going to take me another 15 years to gather all of that. What am I going to do? And I think that is definitely what separates us, in this field of law, is that we're quite happy to take a client who has that foundation of qualification. And what we're looking for is the base number of projects. Do they have that base number of projects? And really, the rest, they can actually build and pad on their own. They just don't know it. And so we're able to sit down with them and really guide them on here's the criteria, and through really explaining the law and even connecting them to fabulous news and media writers that we know of who are happy to have access to good newsworthy content to write about. So it's really to take those diamond in the roughs and find those diamond in the roughs and say, hey, there is an absolute definite pathway to get to the O1 visa for you. We just need to guide you through the process and really present and educate the officer on what gives you that distinction, what really causes you to stand out. And that's, I think, at the core is that discussion. What is it? Technical, method, what is it about you? And that's the great thing that we try to dig for.
That's really wonderful. Can I ask you, how long do O1s usually take to come through? What is the waiting period usually?
Sure. So right now, for many years, the processing time has been quite quick, actually, a matter of a few weeks. This year, we have seen U.S. immigration slowing down a bit on processing. So we're seeing there's kind of 2 different service centers that decide these O1 applications. The faster one, we're seeing 2 to 3 months, and the slower one, we're seeing 4 to 6.
Okay.
Yeah, so to shorten that timeline, we are recommending that a lot of applicants use the premium processing option, which is, a guarantee that U.S. Immigration will give you feedback on your application within 2 weeks.
Gee, that's wonderful.
For an additional fee, of course, of $1,225.
Okay. And what is the total fee of a O1?
I do think that people should be saving up for around $3,500 to $6,000, depending on the complexity of the case. And that's for legal fee. On filing fee, you're looking at base government filing fee, normal processing time, which is important because those can be literally months and months and months. There really is no definitive, they have to get you an answer back at this time. So on average, right now, we're usually finding normal processing to be around 2 to 4 months, and that's at a fee at $325. Yet that's completely subject to change, and in fact they're projecting it to go up to $460 in just a couple months. On premium processing and you really want to be careful about choosing premium processing. You want to be doing it very closely with your attorney and their advice. And so this is usually around a ballpark of around $1,200. However, again, subject to change, and that's to get an opinion back in about 15 days. You do want to be looking at the strength of the case to determine if you should go for premium processing.
Okay, great. Can you tell us about the E3 visa?
Sure. So the E3 visa is a gorgeous visa only available to citizens of Australia.
Okay.
And it is for professional Australian workers. So for anyone who has a university degree or what the State Department considers to be its equivalent, which could be 12 years of work experience in the field, or it could be a combination of your years of university study and your years of work experience, the E3 visa is available. So if you do have to have an offer from an American company to work in the US in your field of education or experience.
Okay.
But for anyone who has the background and the job offer, the application process is very streamlined and can be applied directly at the embassy, the US Embassy in Australia. And the adjudication on them is, it tends to be quite favorable compared to other similar visas.
Okay.
So that's a really nice
That's
one.
pretty exciting.
Yeah.
And how long does that take to come through?
So the E3 visa, once the offer is in place, it usually can come through 2 to 3 weeks.
That's really quick.
Yeah.
And what sort of costs are around that? But it's not for actors, correct?
It's not for
No.
actors. Unfortunately, it is not an ideal visa for some performers. Actually, for a lot of people who work behind the scenes, it can be good. For anyone with a technical background, producers, actually even some musicians, it can be good.
Can we talk about sponsors and how that all works?
Yes, absolutely. So the sponsors, we were kind of running through the criteria for the O1 visa. One of them is that you have to have a petitioner, which is also called a sponsor. Most commonly for artists, this is going to be some type of representative, a talent agent or a talent manager. And so their role is to represent the artist as well as the employers who are offering them work in the US. Having an agent or manager as a petitioner allows the artist to freelance within their field. So it allows you to pick up more work in your field as an actor or a dancer or whatever your profession is. Now, importantly, having a sponsor does not eliminate the need to still have an offer or offers of employment to work here. So most artists have to have both a sponsor as well as job offers or deal memos, we often call them. Now, it is possible that the sponsor or petitioner is also the employer. So if an artist is going to work for a theater company, a dance company, and they're only going to work for that one company, then that company can be the petitioner. But for most people who want to freelance, you want to have some type of representative serve as your petitioner.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Great.
And your attorney, would have some suggestions on this. If you are, I haven't signed yet with management, which is very often the case.
Yes.
Many agents and managers
Yeah.
will not even see you
Yes.
until you have a visa.
Yes.
That is
That's
true.
right. I mean, it's kind of a tricky, what do I do? How do I,
Chicken
work
before
that?
the egg again.
Yeah, completely.
So there are other avenues as well, which we can certainly talk about with our clients on a consultation basis.
That's great.
And we would, make those suggestions and even referrals at that point.
You've always been so supportive of Hollywood Immersive, and I want to thank you so much for coming along today. It's been wonderful speaking to you.
Well, thank you. It's been a real thrill for us as well, and we actually would like to thank Hollywood Immersive to be our relationship with you. And with that, we are actually offering at our law firm to waive the initial consultation fee for anyone you're sending our way that goes through your program.
Wonderful.
We know
Thank
that
you.
they're coming to the best, so we are very much appreciative. Thank you.
Thank you. That is a really wonderful offer. So if people want to get in contact with you, what is the best way to do that?
Absolutely. I would really suggest, first of all, going on our website. Our website is a wealth of information, even background information on what these visas even are. It reads almost like an encyclopedia, actually. but for user, layperson. Anyway, you can go and log on to www.dlgimmigration.com, and the fill out form for consultation is right there. You can also pick up the phone and dial our number, of course, as well. A lot of people choose to email us, though, at info@dlgimmigration.com.
Okay.
And we're very responsive. I think you'll even find from the commentaries online about us.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you so much for coming in today and speaking to us all about visas and what you do. And thank you. It's been wonderful. Very informative.
Thank you so much for having us.
Absolutely.
Let's get